Hello Sagittarius and welcome back to my channel. This is Awaken Healings with Jess. I'm here to bring you your general reading for the month of April. So we are in Aries season. Fire energy is upon us, so it'll definitely resonate nicely with this fiery Aries energy. It's also the new year of the zodiac calendar, so new beginnings, new cycle, new everything. There's a lot going on in our world right now, both individually, collectively, and globally. We're all in this together. We are entering a new phase in our existence, a new phase in history, not only for ourselves, but nationally and globally as well. We will be forever changed after this pandemic has cleared, and we will be forever changed for the better. This is definitely a call to arms, a call to spiritual arms, and it's time for us to awaken, open our eyes, increase our consciousness, and realize that what and how we were living our lives was no longer serving our highest good and was not going to be leading us down the appropriate path that Spirit wants us to go towards. So the universe has gifted us with this pandemic as a means to shake us up and wake us up and agitate and impact every single one of us, so that way we have a voice in how we want to live our life and how we want to shape and inform and form society locally, at the community level, state level, national level, and global level. All right. So if you haven't already done so, check out weekly woke messages. The past two, they're weekly, so I usually release them on Sundays. I've released two, and the messages came to me through shamanic journeying, from spirit guides from the spirit world, and there's some big messages that I think of you need to hear. So please, please, please check out those videos, the weekly woke messages. They're meant to be timeless, but they are, I do put some dates with it, the weekly range, more for indexing purposes. But whenever you come across those messages, that's when you're meant to hear them, all right? Also, another plug, I've been busy working on a website. I just recently launched it, so it's kind of like a soft launch. There's still things that I'm fixing on there, so bear with me. But I am open for business. Awakenhealings.org, awakenedhealings.org with an S, all right? Check me out. All of my services are up there. Readings, compassionate listening, Reiki right now, just distance healing, shamanic healing, again, only distance. We'll do everything over Zoom. So if you'd like to work with me, or if you need clarification on certain things, check out services. I'd love to connect and help you. All right. So Sagittarius, without further ado, let's get started. I have your Celtic cross already spread out. I'm using the Good Tarot deck. And yeah, here we go. Bottom of the deck energy. 6 of Air. All right, you're about to embark on a spiritual journey. You're about to embark on soul expansion, up-leveling, but something is preventing you. I feel like there is hesitation and resistance towards this evolution, all right? But it's meant to happen. So flow with it, cast fear aside, put fear aside, because fear is only there to keep you small, keep you stuck, keep you tethered. Time to just be like, all right, look, there's changes going on in my life, and these changes can result in big decisions, which can alter and impact reality. And I feel like with this six of Air, which is synonymous with the Six of Swords in the regular Rider-Waite Tarot deck, these changes could possibly result in you moving cities, moving residences, moving states, maybe moving countries for some of you. But there is some hesitation there. There is some resistance there. I feel like with this global pandemic, there's a lot of folks who are out of work for a variety of reasons. It could be that their job is on hold and they're just told to go home, and we'll call you when we're allowed to go back to work. Or, hey, given the situation and how, what the economic situation is for that business, we're going to have to furlough you or just let you go for now. We'd love to rehire you in the future, but right now. so forth and so forth. So I do get the sense that your world is topsy-turvy, Sagittarius. I do get the sense that this can result in big changes for you, both economically, physically, and emotionally, but overall spiritually, because how we handle challenge and how we handle obstacles and how we handle these issues, that's spirit, and spirit will guide you through this murky time period. Okay, it's not easy. There's a lot of people out there struggling, stressing about how to pay the bills, how to pay rent, mortgage, food, doctor's bills. Some of you are ill with the virus. There's that on top of the economic factor. There's just a lot going on. So whatever your reality is, it's topsy-turvy. And again, when we come out of all this, your world is not going to look and feel the same. There's no such thing as going back to how things used to be. You can go back maybe about how it used to be, but there's going to be a certain percentage that's altered and different. Again, it sort of depends on what is changed. Maybe it's more of a difference. Maybe it will be normal, like you used to know it, and it will be new, right? So again, just take it how it resonates, but this is about big changes that are coming up. So I think that they're coming and you're delaying, or there's resistance. You're like, oh, I'm not ready for that. But whatever it is, change is going to happen. It's better if you're prepared for it. It's better if you flow with it and allow it. It'll be easier, all right? So let me just take a moment to check in with the energy of your cards. I'm just going to do that silently. Okay. Yeah, it all makes sense. This is exactly what I kind of expected to see. All right, so Sagittarius, central to your reading, you're being represented as the messenger of air. You're waiting on correspondence. You're waiting on information, and you're waiting for a decision. I feel like whatever this means is going to help you figure out your next step or next set of steps. Crossing you is the 6 of water, all right? And that is the past. That is nostalgia. So I feel like there's just a lot of things coming up right now that you're looking towards the past and you're waiting on new correspondence because, right now, for a lot of us, the past is really our only touchstone that we have, because right now our present moment feels very wonky, feels very unstable and fluid. And many of us aren't really trusting the energy right now of our present situation. There's just too many unknowns, too variables that haven't been answered or defined yet. And I feel like you're waiting on correspondence, right? So that's going to be coming through for you. I think you're also dialoguing with a lot of people, trying to figure out, unemployment benefits, health insurance. You're trying to apply for jobs. Who's hiring? Not right now, kind of not a whole lot. But, in the meantime, it's like, well, what can you do? And there's a lot of conversations taking place as well with family, friends, loved ones about your health, your well-being, what's going on, people supporting you and vice versa. So with that, there's also a lot of, discussion about the past, maybe reminiscing about childhood, high school, college, what life was like before the pandemic, And I feel like there's just a lot. This is almost like the Capricorn reading. There's like the past is very much in the present. And I feel that's true for like a lot of us right now, that there's a lot of nostalgia, because we are all locked in and we all have a ton of time on our hands. And, the only thing that we have in common is like, well, remember when? Remember when we used to do this? Remember when we used to do that 3 weeks ago and now we can't? So there's that. And then there's also, just a lot of people from the past reaching out because we now have time to do so. There's a lot of sense of community coming forward, with illnesses. Maybe some of our loved ones may be ill. Maybe some of our friends may be ill. So it is bringing that community back together again. And it is bringing people back from the past that you haven't heard from in years, right? So this is a time for us to really connect with our tribe, connect with our people, and really just get in touch with the human element of what this virus is trying to teach us, because there was so much detachment before the pandemic. We were living our lives as individuals and as singletons. Even though we had family, even though we had children, we were still very much detached from life, from connection, from meaningful connections. We were too busy about work. We were too busy worrying about getting to school on time, doing our job, that presentation. I got to fly to Chicago for whatever, blah, 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 blah. I can't make it to your birthday. Sorry, honey, love you, but we'll celebrate next week. Things like that. That's what normal life used to be like. And I feel like that's what some of these conversations are about. And now it's about how are we going to move past that? Because now you're seeing the importance of connection, of family, of friends, of your loved ones, and what those people mean to you, right? And it's not superficial shit. It's the real thing. You're seeing their value, and vice versa. They're seeing your value to them. And once this is all said and done, and we're able to restart the economy, and we're able to go back to work and live our lives again, a lot of us are going to be doing it in a different manner. We're going to be more present. We're going to do so more mindfully and with intention. Intention from our hearts. Intention to be better people, better spouses, better lovers, better parents, better friends, better versions of ourselves. And we're going to prioritize ourselves first. And we're going to be able to say no to a lot more bullshit, and once we go back to work, we'd be like, oh God, remember? I really wish I could have had all that time, back. I really wish that I was kind of quarantined again. And I really wish I didn't waste all that time sitting on the couch, doing nothing, eating Cheez-Its. I really wish I would have been more productive with that time off. So I feel like, this is time for you all to really get connected with your tribe, with your people, and start collaborating on some of those passion projects that you really want to work on. We all have nothing but time on our hands. We're 3 weeks into this pandemic in the United States. China was locked down for 8 weeks. So we've got 5 more weeks to go if the US is going to follow the Wuhan model. So you have a little over a month, realistically, and we'll see how long that takes. I mean, that's just a guesstimate. But, this is going to be our sense of normalcy for a while. So it's time to settle in and really just embrace who we are and connect with our loved ones and celebrate life in a new way and really get involved with these hobbies that aren't quite hobbies anymore. These are hobbies that can yield a profit, that can actually be fruitful and productive for you, right? There's a lot of creativity, a lot of creative energy in the air right now. We are in Aries season. That's fire energy. That's like the energy of spark, creativity, go, go, go. It is action oriented. It is a great time to get involved with causes. There's so many, ways to, raise funds, raise awareness, get involved in those projects. You can write newsletters. You can be a blogger or a vlogger. You can work with the art, the web design. There's so many things that you can do from home and still contribute to the greater good. And there's a lot of organizations who need help right now. So I feel like this is you getting connected not only with your friends and family, but getting connected with your higher purpose, with your soul tribe. All right. So in your recent past, 9 of fire. Yeah. I mean, this is, you releasing, you were burnt out. You wanted to give up. And now you're like, all right, look, yeah, I was burning myself out at work. I was burning myself out pre-pandemic because that was life, living life in the fast lane, going to work, going to meetings, going to parties, going on business trips, go, 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 go. Living life in the fast lane is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that song, Life in the Fast Lane. It's like an easy song, but I'm hearing it for some of you. And I feel like Sagittarius, it's time for you just to breathe and pause, because what's on your mind's eye is the 4 of air, 4 of swords, slowing down, pausing, reflecting, resting, catching your breath. It's time to be like, all right, look, life literally pumped the brakes on you. It's like, that's it. Screeching halt. No one's going to work. No one's going to bars. No one's going to restaurants. You can't go to the gym. You can't hang out. Groups no more. Stay the hell home. Okay. So now we're all decompressing from that. We're all decompressing from that type of lifestyle. And, it was our normal. It's how we lived life. And we went through life just almost in a zombie state. We were a slave to the time. We were a slave to our schedules, slave to the man, to the boss, to the work, to the projects. And our family members and our loved ones and our children, and our romantic partners all took back seats. And our relationships failed, or were on the verge of failing because of that. Because people weren't being prioritized. It was money. It was status. It was success that was being prioritized over feelings, over memories, over important events and occasions. We were living a very plastic, very shallow existence. And now we're being called to pause, reflect, catch our breath, and get grounded and reflect upon what's important to us. Because in your near future is the Four of Earth reversed. Four of Earth in the regular Rider-Waite shows a man sitting on 4 pentacles and holding a pentacle to his chest. So very miserly energy, very closed off. And now it's time for you to release that, to start opening yourself up to others. Open yourself up to truth, to love, to your feelings. Opening yourself up to your values, what's important to you. Create a budget, because I feel like a lot of us were overspending on shit that we didn't need, and right now that we're home, we are now seeing that we can do with a lot less in our lives, that there's so many things that we can do without, and we're starting to see savings here and there, So there is also a bit of a gift in seeing the supermarkets cleared out. I feel like the hoarding and the panic shopping is dying down. That's starting to subside. There's some people out there who still do it, and I have no idea why. But for the most part, when you go into the supermarket, we're kind of like, well, I might be able to get that today. We'll see what's on the shelves. So we're going in now with the expectation that we not get everything that we need, that we want. And it's like, okay, well, if it's not there, I can do without. And we're starting to learn to do without. And that is an important lesson in materialism, because the United States is a very materialistic and plastic culture. Let's face it, right? We are led and influenced by social media influencers, like people on Instagram, celebrities, and it's like, well, wait a minute. They're entertaining. And I appreciate their art and I appreciate what they do, but are they the best person to be taking advice from? Something to consider, right? And a lot of folks who are influencers are promoting a product or a lifestyle, and it costs money. It costs money. And there was a lot of expectation, a lot of social pressure that was put on any of us to live a certain way. To live in a massive house, to have an expensive wardrobe, to drive a big fancy car, to have a shit ton of money in the bank account, to spend money, make it rain, right? No. All that has come to a screeching halt. And it's time for us to get into alignment with what truly matters, and to watch our money, to watch our spending, and to be able to say, you know what, I can do without all that. You know what, I don't need all that. That did not bring me happiness. That brought me stress, and it brought me problems. All right, so we are really getting into alignment with our truth, with what really matters to us. And that is all part of this pandemic. That is the design that the universe had in mind for this pandemic to produce. Yes, this pandemic is bringing about a lot of illness, a lot of death, a lot of sadness, a lot of tragedy. But on the flip side, it's bringing together a massive sense of unity, a massive sense of community, and a massive sense of just oneness. And it's really waking us up to our truth, to what matters to us most. And it's not materialistic stuff. Materialism is, the importance of that is starting to decrease, right? Because it's people, it's the connection, it's love that's going to get us out of all this. It really is. You know, it's how we're going to elect our next elected officials, what we're going to demand, how they serve us, what types of legislation that they produce, you know, not only at the state level, national level, but also on the global level. I feel like that's happening all over the world, not just the United States. And it's us coming together as a nation, as a collective, to say, we're no longer going to stand for that mess. Here's our truth. Here's what we want. Here's how we want to evolve and change our society and community. And these are the leaders that we want, because this is the change that we seek. And change starts with us. We have to be the change that we seek in others in order to influence change on a higher level. All right. And I feel like that's being depicted with the Page of Earth. Page of Earth is also a student, but I feel like we are students in this grand experiment, if you will. I feel like we're students in ourselves, learning about ourselves. Again, you know, learning about the things that we don't need, and, you know, learning about what's really important for us. And with the Page of Earth, this is also the card of manifestation. So I feel like, you know, once we get into alignment with what we want, we're going to manifest great things together, not only as individuals, but as a collective, right? In your environment, 7 of Earth, it's time to take a stance and do things differently. And you're realizing how you used to do things in the past is no longer going to serve you in the future. And you're reevaluating a lot of things. You know, some of you have lost your jobs, and it's like, all right, what can I do? What else can I do? What direction am I going in? There's a lot of question marks, and you're looking at how you used to do things, and you're asking yourself, will that plan still work in the future? Will that still work after the pandemic? Maybe not. You know, depending on what's going on in your situation, you'd be required to go back to school, you know, maybe get another certification, increase your qualifications, or just go in a different direction. So this can be a blessing in disguise, but right now it's a bit chaotic. But it's time for you to really just think about that and think about what new opportunities are coming in for you, because this is very young page energy, you know, Page of Earth. So, you know, pentacle energy, so to speak. So very early, you know, forming stuff. Hopes and Fears is 9 of Water reversed. Yeah, this is releasing excess. So, you know, 9 of Water upright is about dreams come true, wish fulfillment, dreams and wish fulfillment. But reversed, it's excess. It's not being satisfied with what you have. You always want more. So this is a time to release all that, because your outcome is a Chariot. And this is the card of pause. It's like, whoa, stop, change direction. Because when the Chariot comes in reverse, that's like, whoa, pull the brakes, do a U-turn, because you're going to go off the cliff, right? So I feel like together, this message is, yeah, you have to release materialistic shit. You have to release the shallow shit. And it's time to just really get into alignment with what really matters to you. What's your truth? What's really going to make you happy, but for real make you happy? And it's not the plastic stuff. It's not. So, yeah, there's a lot of soul searching going on right now. There's a lot of digging deep and going within right now. Not only for you all, Sagittarius, but for everybody in the collective. Everyone. Whoops. That didn't work out. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pull from the Sacred Rebels Oracle. I'm going to pull a card from there. I'm going to pull an oracle from Goddess of the Moon and from the Sacred Earth. Let's see what messages are coming through for you all there. Oh gosh. Cards are jumpy tonight. Very jumpy. Sacred Earth. Sagittarius. Just need one. There we go. Yeah, we'll do those in a minute. All right, so Sacred Rebel. The perfection of your life. Yeah. So I get the sense, Sagittarius, that you're really thinking about the perfection of your life. What is it going to take to achieve perfection in your life, right? And I get the sense that you were working on creating that, pre-pandemic. And I think you were going down certain rabbit holes, and some of them were working for you, but some of them not so much. And I feel like, with this, because also bottom of the deck, I remind you, bottom of the deck energy is the Six of Swords, Six of Air reversed. So there's some hesitation about change. There's some hesitation about moving on, moving forward, moving away. But there is movement that's coming through that's going to bring about change for you. And it could take you in a different direction and maybe change your definition of perfection. Again, you're being called to release the shallowness of materialism. And I feel like you're going to realize how much you can really do without. And once you unload yourself from that, and the materialistic aspect of that, you're going to be like, wow, so much better and clear-headed, and life's going to be different, and it's going to be better, and it's going to be higher quality. And I think you're going to achieve perfection a lot sooner, a lot quicker than you think, and you may approach it and achieve it in a different manner, so to speak, but perfection nonetheless, and you'll be happy with it. All right, so the next oracle card is coming in from the Goddess of the Moon oracle deck. Ooh, Focus. That's a beautiful card. It's one of my favorites. I love this. This is about marrying logic with intuition. It's time to really focus on what you want. Keep your eye on the prize. Transformative energy is going on right here on your third eye, and that's altering your thoughts, altering your perception, considering new ideas, being open to new ideas, being open to receiving and surrendering. But you have to focus on what's important to you. What's really important to you? Who is really important to you? These are the questions you should be asking yourself right now, because what you focus on is what manifests, right? So be careful with your thoughts. Make sure they're really clear. Make sure you know what you want, because that's how we manifest. All right. So up next is Sacred Earth Oracle. Ooh, potential reversed. I'm hearing untapped potential. I feel like I'm hearing self-limiting. Okay. Untapped potential and self-limiting. You're limiting yourself, you're in your own way. And with that, there's potential that you may not recognize or be aware of just yet. So it's time for you to think about your resume. Think about your education. Think about the jobs you've worked in the past. And I think it's time for you to rewrite that resume and relook at certain skill sets, because I think you're qualified for a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for. I also think that you're used to a certain way of doing things, maybe a certain way of earning money, a certain way of living, and you may not be so open to other avenues, other opportunities. So get out of your own way, open yourself up, look at that resume. There's hidden potential there. And you may have sold yourself short in the past because you may not have been marketing yourself properly. All right. So now is a perfect time to rewrite that resume, maybe work with someone, a professional resume writer. So that way when the economy does open up, you can be like, bam, I'm going for a promotion, and you're going to get that promotion. All right. So that's what I'm seeing for one or some of you. But also untapped potential can also mean creative things. Many of us are being called to work on projects that are going to take us in a different direction, that's going to increase our happiness and add value to ourselves and to the lives of others. So there's unlimited potential there. All right. So it's time for you to tap into that. All right. Let's check in with twins and soulmates, masculine and feminine, and see what's going on there. I usually pull 2 cards for the masculine and 2 for the feminine. right, so we've got the masculine. We just need 2 for the feminine. Okay, so masculine to his feminine. We are not good for each other right now, but I'm hoping that we can work it out. Okay. And feminine to her masculine. I don't feel good enough right now, and I feel that you are moving further away. Okay. So I do get the sense that this is a timing thing. Both of you aren't really feeling good right now. You know, things are off. It could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because, you know, it could be the stress of finances, job loss, illness, stress. There's a lot going on right now during this time period. And life is not normal. There's the added layer of the pandemic and, you know, massive layoffs and at least 1 million Americans unemployed and us possibly going into a depression. So there is a massive layer of stress upon us, you know. So yes, I do get the sense where people aren't feeling good right now, and maybe not feeling very romantic, and feeling like, oh, you know, I'm ready to open myself up to love again because, well, gosh, you know, I need to figure out how I'm gonna pay the bills and afford some food. Thank God we're not going anywhere, so I don't need to buy gas. And there's a toilet paper shortage because I don't know why people are hoarding the toilet paper, but they are. So there's just a lot of things going on. And I just get the sense from here, you guys just aren't feeling very romantic, you know, and it's like there's love there, and the feminine is feeling that her masculine is pulling further away. And the masculine's like, we're just not good for each other right now, but I want to work it out. So I get the sense that this is all about, let's let the situation sit where it's at. Maybe check in on one another on a friend level. Hey, how you doing? Holding up okay? Do you need anything? Blah, blah, blah. You know, hey, have you checked out this movie? If you haven't, this is a great one. I recommend it. And just sort of keeping things there until this whole situation clears itself up. Because there's a lot there. There is a lot there. I don't get the sense that there's any love lost in this connection. I do get the sense that you will come back together under optimal conditions. It's just not right now. Okay? This pandemic can probably go on into the summer months, so just be prepared. So in the meantime, just focus on yourself. Focus on you. Focus on updating that resume. Focus on your creative projects. Focus on working on the house, you know, indoor yoga, things like that. Just things that make you happy, that make you feel content, and just don't stress about it. Okay? Yeah, don't stress about it. This is the least of your problems. There's other things that are probably requiring your attention, not this. You're okay here, you know, just the friendly check-in, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm going to Grubhub you a coffee and get it sent to you, you know, things like that. So I think you're okay. Just breathe. Let's go ahead and check in with Nature's Whispers, and then we'll wrap up with an angel message card, and that will conclude your reading. So Sagittarius, comment below. Give this video a thumbs up if it resonated with you. Share, like, and subscribe. Please click the subscription bell if you haven't done so already. And check out our website, awakenhealings.org, awakenhealings with an S.org. My contact information is below in the subscription box. And the website has a list of all of your services if you'd like to work with me. All right, so Nature's Whispers card, ideal course of action. I've been saying that, and this is happening for a reason. It's in divine timing. It's in divine order. It's meant to happen. Check out 2 videos, the weekly woke messages for last week and the week prior. Big messages about this pandemic and what's really going on. I received those through shamanic journeying. So those are coming from the spirit world. and it goes into why this is an ideal course of action. But you're doing what you're meant to be, what you're meant to be doing right now. Angel message coming in from Seraphina. I am the angel of families. A happy change or addition is coming to your family. Yes, so maybe some of you are getting pregnant during this pandemic. You know, maybe you'll have a little bundle of joy in 9 months when all this is said and done, which is great. Or some of you are maybe pregnant right now and maybe giving birth during this time period as well. But either way, family, and it's all about family, you know, and family does not have to be in the traditional sense. It's who we embrace as family members. It could be friends, you know, it could be non-blood relatives, but family is family. And I feel like, you know, this is definitely a time for us to really focus on family, people who are important to us, blood relatives and non-blood relatives, all right? However that resonates. So Sagittarius, take care of all of you. We'll see you soon. Stay healthy, stay home, stay safe, and take care. Love you all. Bye.